this morning. So we always like to hear. Here's Bob. Thank you, Brother Bob, for being with us here this morning. Bob will be on momentarily with us. He has joined the Zoom, the host.
Aloha.
Aloha, Brother Bob. And we have Paul joining us. I think he's on the road right now. He's in northern Michigan, but him and his wife, Tanya, I believe, are traveling somewhere. So welcome, Paul. Brother Bob. Oh, I love the background, man. That is so beautiful.
Yeah, I got my other computer. It's a little bit more updated, so it can take all kind of backgrounds and backdrops. And I got Lady Liberty.
Yeah,
is coin up there.
yeah,
beautiful.
Yeah, and so this first session is for our new people. Is
yeah.
that?
I know that the first is our advanced training, and then the second session starting at 1 hour from now is our basic training, Bob.
Good, advanced training. Okay, I just need to know which one I got.
That's right, because as you know,
I've been doing several trainings this morning already.
You're the marathon, and Bob, we sure appreciate it. Hey, Bob, can you welcome some new members? We have Janet Giggles with us today. She's a new member, part of Gloria's team. Welcome, Calais. And also, would you welcome Paul Syjak? Also, it might be his wife, Tanya, might be on here with us. Paul's been on a couple of them so far, and he's a new member. Became associate last week up in northern Michigan, sponsored by Eric Welsh.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, gentlemen. Hey, Pastor Gary, Paul Syjak here. Yes, we're actually here. We're going to be listening in. Both of us actually. Tanya's. We actually are traveling. We are actually moved down to Wisconsin for a couple days, but we will be listening in on. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Paul.
Well, welcome, Paul and Janet, to our 7K Hawaii Ohana team. And so you rooted all from the Hawaii Ohana team. So that's why you're even part of it, regardless of where you are located. And I'm in Prairieville, Louisiana. So we're starting to ping pong all across not only the United States, but also across the world. And that's another great thing about this opportunity. So since we're doing a little bit of advanced training here, I'd like to speak about a couple of subjects this morning. Unless, Pastor Gary, did you have a couple of subjects you wanted me to address?
Starting is on the chat. Our brother Ronald Jones was so gracious to put on the meetings you recommended, the webinars by Christine. So if you want to talk a bit about that, I know you know Christine and you mentored her, and you're the one that recommended we start using these live Zoom presentations where she does a Q&A after the presentation. So you can see it on the Zoom, everybody, if you want to take a look at it. She has added a Saturday presentation. Especially in the Hawaii time zone, could be very good. So thank you, Bob. And for those that are new, you're hearing from our senior business partner, Mr. Bob Reid. He is the #1 earner in 7K. He's been helping people with gold and silver for over 30 years. Great friend of Sir Richard Hansen, one of the owners, founders of 7K. So Bob, thank you for doing these training sessions for us on these Saturday mornings.
Yeah, well, that's what we do. That's what I've done with each group since day one. And that's 4.5 years ago. November 16 is when I joined, of 2016. And I started the first meeting on my birthday, November 17th, 2016 at George Donaldson's house, which is also the sponsor of the person who seeded the seeds in Hawaii, Jim McClellan. And
yeah, that's right.
And then from one of those seeds, somehow some water fell on it about a year later, and Pastor Gary went back to the source of the sower of that seed, Jim McClellan, and had some questions, and he was put directly in touch with George. And immediately we had three members, Pastor Gary, and then he sponsored Cheryl, and Cheryl sponsored Colleen, and then they put Pastor Gary in touch with me, and that, as old Paul used to say, now you're about to hear the rest of the story. And so it's been an amazing journey so far, even with having over 35 people attend the Salt Lake City a regional event, the largest ever in the history of 7K. And Hawaii was well represented, and in fact was able to give a special Hawaii aloha to all of the 7K leadership, management, and all members in attendance of the Salt Lake City regional event. I don't think we're going to be able to call them regional events anymore. They're going to have to be called global events pretty soon, you know. But you are the leaders. You are the future leaders. You're the ones that's being the pioneers, just as many of us have been the pioneers in every one of these markets with 7K. 7K, you know, is in Idaho Falls, Idaho, and we're down here in Prairieville, Louisiana, and Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and that's, you know, at one end, the northern part of the mainland and the southern part of the mainland, clear, right next to the ocean, the Gulf border of the mainland, and right next to the Canadian border of the mainland. So, you know, in networking, it's people talking to people. It's people telling, you know, people what they're interested in, what they're doing, what's going on. You know, it's the old thing. You eat a good meal, you tell somebody you really liked it at that restaurant, except the restaurant's not giving you remuneration for sending people to the restaurant. You see a great movie, you tell people about it, and you send a lot of people to the movie house, and they're not sending you any extra movie tickets. But the great industry of network marketing and affiliate marketing came up with a way to remunerate people for doing the advertising, marketing, and promotion. And so one thing to understand about that is, in the network marketing sense, that is the most effective and efficient way to promote and build a company, because you're not wasting advertising and marketing dollars, because the only time you remunerate or pay is when an actual sale takes place. So I doubt if anyone could argue that that's not the most effective and efficient form of marketing. And that's what I saw many years ago when I first looked at network marketing. You know, I had never been involved with it. I come from a traditional business background, and looking at buying a franchise to own my own business, but, you know, be a prisoner of my own business. Network marketing provided an opportunity to start with a little capital, and then learn the skills, attitudes, and techniques to be able to succeed in that industry. I just did a training this morning with our U.S. Batman and group. Most of my leaders are already doing their own trainings now, and some of their leaders doing their own training, and some of their leaders doing their own training. And since this is advanced training, and now let's see, I'll look at February the 26th as being the start day for 7K Hawaii team, Ohana team. That's the date that I'll look at. That's the date that Brother Gary and Cheryl and Colleen enrolled. And so from that date to this date, and see, I'm not counting the 5 people that were involved or a member for a year prior to that almost. But from that date, from February 26th until today, you almost have 1,000 new members in 7K Hawaii Ohana team. And that's quite a significant growth in a very short period of time. I only had one other group that had growth like that, and that was Wayne Clark in our team. In Pamela's business, she sponsored Wayne, and Wayne was determined. Wayne was focused. Wayne just wanted to know the system, wanted to go to work, and he did. He became a bronze in his first week. He became the first silver bar winner in the company since an inception, since it's been put together as silver, rank of silver within 90 days, win and hold it for 45 days and win a 100-ounce silver bar. Now that's pretty powerful. So it's like Roger Bannister when he broke the 4-minute mile. Everybody started breaking the 4-minute mile because it became possible. And so that's what Wayne Clark did. He became silver, and in that 90-day period, actually he became silver in 27 days. Now that was pretty powerful. But his record was broke by his people because they set a focus, they set a target. And he became the first executive gold in the company. He became a gold and then executive gold in less than 6 months in the company, the first in the company. And then we had 3 more come, okay, after Wayne. Not in my group, but in other groups. In other words, people saw it was possible. And so when I keep talking about in the presentation, presidential goal is yet to be made. No one's made it yet. Now, Wayne's got his target on it, but if he does reach it first, there's no reason that there shouldn't be 2 or 3 right here out of team 7K Hawaii team, Ohana team, not to be the next ones, because you've got that kind of momentum going. And if you band together as a team, work together. Now, it doesn't mean that the people above you do your work. That is not what that means. That means you'll cooperate, but you don't cause stress in your organization. This is one thing sometimes I see when we are aggressively pursuing goals, we might unintentionally put undue stress on other people. And it may be just because of communication. People receive things different. And so I wanted to address that today in this advanced leadership training, because there's nothing more than I'd like to see every person that joined win that 100-ounce silver bar. but people move at their own speed. People have different things going on in their life, and sometimes it's just right around the corner. Well, sometimes when it's right around the corner, the person that's trying to achieve it needs to assume that responsibility themselves, if that's what they want. So as a leader, it is very important to us that we communicate our goals and we have a good understanding of our team members and what their desires and what their needs are at the same time. And this is just advanced leadership training. That's all it is here. Not talking about any particular person or using any particular example, because it goes on all the time, okay? Because we all want to get to that rank, but sometimes we have to depend on somebody else initially getting to their rank to do it. So in my system that I teach, and it's something like I do, look, I leapfrogged over George to get to, but I gave George that choice. When Gary said, you need to come. Well, all that conversation and all the 3 ways we were doing, all the Zooms we were doing, all the things we were doing, I went to George and I said, hey, George, one of us needs to go to Hawaii. And I agree. Pastor Gary is saying, y'all need to get here. And I totally agree with him. You got to get there. We got to do what we did, what I've done here, what I've done in other markets, and you got to get there. So do you want to pack your bags and go? Or do you want me? It's your choice. Or we can both go, fine with me. But somebody's got to stay home and, take care of all the other troops. And at the same time, deal with the new business, because I'm sure we're going to have a lot of new business. We're growing at a great rate, but when we personally get there, what happens. And so somebody's going to be needing to hold down the fort. I can hold it down here. And he said, no, you go. You go, because that's what you do best, Bob. And I said, okay. So that's an example of teamwork. Okay. I didn't just make the decision, I'm going. I let George make that decision. Okay. Same thing in helping other people achieve their rank. Many times, I could have been an executive goal, been the first executive goal in the company when my wife became gold. That meant I had to help George become gold because he was my silver on my other side. And we worked at it. We worked at it hard. We pushed. We didn't get there, but it could have happened, and I also wanted Wayne to be the first executive goal in the company. I thought that would be very impactful. And so I wasn't going to be in competition with someone in our group. I'd rather it happen for him than happen for me. And that's just another real example. So what I want everyone to do is when you're engaged in these things, bring someone in your support group into it with you. Don't let them linger, because we do have a lot of people pushing to be silver right now, and I want every person to get there, but I don't want stressful relationships caused by it, and it should never cause stress on anyone. We will, and I don't mind getting involved directly in communications if that is needed on both ends of the situation. And all our new people, new leaders stepping up in advanced training. I encourage you to set your goals high. Set your goals for that silver bar too, and know that you're going to get one on the left, one on the right. But there's some things you need to learn. You really need to learn the comp plan. You really need to learn what it means to have 2 people you personally sponsored that you personally enroll and put in the computer, and they're on your left team and right team, and you place them. So that's 2 people, and they must be active. One of those 2, it doesn't matter which one, must become an associate. Now, what was that? One on the left and one on the right that they personally sponsored. Now, if they come in with a business family pack, they're automatically associate. So if you're an associate and you've got one on your left and one on your right, and you personally sponsor a person and they're coming in with their own business family pack, and you place them on the right, and then you sponsor a person with their own business family pack and you place them on your left, that makes you a what? Come on, everybody answer in your own heads. That makes you a copper. So see, you shouldn't need the piece of paper to see this, because when you're an associate, you only have one person on your left and one person on your right. And it matters not what rank they are, because if you've only personally sponsored one person, they can be a gold, they can be a silver, and the most money you will make is $500 a week, no matter if there's 10,000 points coming up on each side, because you've only sponsored one on the left and one on the right. But gee whiz, $500 a week for the rest of your life, and you just got in and you start making that within the first 6 months or year. I mean, that'd be a blessing beyond imagination, wouldn't it? And like no other company provides in the world. And so that's pretty powerful opportunity. So learning just that basic like that, to be able to transmit that to your prospects as you're talking about accumulating gold, accumulating wealth, accumulating silver, in the process of learning how. And that's where you incorporate my system with a duplicatable system that the company now has, because we have training, every bit of training. And the training I did today, June, what is the day? June 12th, for the Baton Rouge. I don't know what I'm going to title it yet, but I think I'm going to add it to the 7K Hawaii Team Honey training in my YouTube, because you need to review that, because this is with people who's been in for a while, and we address some of the major subjects in advanced training. But every one of you are ready for this now, and I don't want to duplicate that same training right here. I want to give you different trainings that you and your people can refer to in the YouTube, in addition to what we have, the company provide. Now, it's very important that each of you, if you're really serious about becoming a silver, to concentrate in 90 days. Yeah, I'm going to give you where you concentrate. Everybody wants to do this. This is where you need to concentrate. First of all, you can't get involved in, well, this is only worth this and those kind. You can't bog yourself down. But you're going to need to get your sponsor, someone in your upline support group to be able to address these, because those people are important. They have questions, they're interested. But if you're looking to be a silver in 90 days, you're looking for people who are looking to build. You're looking for people who want extra income. You're looking for people who have a need. That's the group. And you need to have if you want to be a silver, you need to have at least 3 on each side of your team like that. Okay, so I'm going to just be straight up with you what you need. Okay, and those people should be willing to come in with a business family pack. They don't always have to. Sometimes the need is greater than the momentary financial capability, but in most cases, that's what is necessary. Okay, then you need to go to the associate training, and you need to know where it's located. You got to know where all the training is located. You need to go to the associate training, and you need to review this one video segment on piquing interest. And that's done by Zach real well, piquing interest. Okay. And that's how you pique people's interest. Okay. I have my own trainings on that too, but you need to go down and further in that associate training, and you need to watch how to become a silver in 90 days. The plan for how to become silver in 90 days. Okay. And that's pretty close. I have an augmented plan, but it's the same thing. You got to make the same ranks to get there. I just have a little additional way that you can do it. And there's more than one way to do it. But the key of how you get there, what ranks you need is there. So those are the 2 things that's very important. That if you want to be silver in 90 days, you've got to do that. And if you got to review them every day, until you've got that in hand, it. Okay. The other thing you got to have the 1-page comp plan always in front of you until you know in your head, like I do. Okay. And like Wayne does now, and like every, most of the people in our group that run through this, it is a 1-page comp plan. And it's a visual that you can actually see it. I'm going to bring it up here in a second. And then you need to actually know where, how to use your Downline Explorer. That's the tool that's going to keep you on track, keep you on rank, help you know what you need next to get on rank, and who you need to concentrate and help, or if they won't help. Not all people won't help, okay? Because we don't know what's going on in their lives. It doesn't necessarily mean they don't really want help. They may have a lot of things going on in their life at that particular time. Now, and then you're just looking for another partner, you're looking for another way, another route. And for those of you that's just embarking on this, now you know how to do it. I didn't give this training to everybody here at the beginning. We just set out, here's the thing, because everybody was just learning the total basics at the same time. So this is what I want to share with you, how to get to that silver and how you can get your people to silver as your business and your group is expanding. Even if you don't make, hey, I didn't get the 100-ounce silver bar. I didn't make it. Many of my people didn't make it. And it's okay if you don't make it. But if you have a chance to get it, you sure want to try and get it, because that sucker's worth $3,200 bonus extra. And so just remember my one rule. Don't spend more money than you're going to make about building business. Everybody knows I teach that in the very basic. Don't spend more money than you're going to make, okay, to attain something, unless you know that you're going to get what? An ROI, return on your investment. Okay, so that's just traditional type way of doing things. And one of the things we know, we get silver, so that has value to it. So in our economic evaluation, we always need to take that into account. We also know we have 1099 tax benefit that gives us also extra value. And so we need to take that account. And when people are thinking about things like that, I don't mind being involved in part of that. discussion and think through and walk through with each individual that's trying to attain that goal and what they're thinking about doing. And Pastor Gary, I want you to keep me on time track because I don't want our advanced training to go into our new people's training. I want to have it finished. I want to have some time, about at least 10 minutes of question and answer time. So cut me off wherever I'm at that time, please.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
We will do that, Bob.
So let me just jump real quick for all the people, some more experienced, some just joining us now and just being part of the team, some embarking on this this thing. And let me just go ahead and share my screen and let's just talk about what I was talking about. So first, I'm going to go over here to the share plan. What I'm talking about is have this in front of you, okay? Now, why to have this in front of you? To an associate, it tells you got to have one left, one right there, period. That enough. And what I told you earlier, I don't care if that person is a presidential goal and that person is a presidential goal. The most you're going to make is $500 if that's all you have is one on the left, one on the right. Because if they're presidential goals, they're going to have a lot of volume coming up, but you aren't eligible to get paid. Okay. So this is why we have people helping people, teaching people based on their own experience. Now, to become a copper, you have to have how many that you personally enroll? 2 on each side. And it tells you that right there. So have this people in paper. And then how do you relate to that to your downline explorer? I'm about to show you, okay? And how to use that downline explorer as we do this. So you've got to have 2 personals, but one of those 2, it doesn't matter which one, and it can be both, it doesn't matter, but you must have at least one that is an associate on the left and right. See, personal teammate rank, one, just one of these 2 needs to be an associate. Both, and the other can just be an active. They can be a 199 member, just a buyer, okay? And then that elevates you to copper and you can make $1,000 a week if you got 1,000 in volume, or you can make 500. And if you've got what we call leadership point, you can roll over the commission. Or if you don't have leadership points, let's say 300 more on your pay side, your minimum side, that'll go to loyalty point. So you get paid on everything. That's the neat part about this comp plan. So that's why you want to get to copper at least as soon as you can, is because you're going to be able to capture most of the volume as you're building and your team's building. So how do you become bronze? Well, you got to add another person. You personally sponsor, you place them. So if you place them, you personally sponsored. If somebody else places them, you didn't sponsor them. They're in your group, but you did not sponsor them. And so then when you get 3 and 3, and one of these 3 is a copper, just like you were. See, so you don't need associates. I mean, it's okay to have 3 associates, but that won't make you a copper. If all 3 of these are associate, will not make you a copper. You have to have one of these 3 that is a copper. And what's a copper? One of the persons that has an associate on the left and right, and 2 personals on each side. And the same thing just goes as we go right up the promotion ladder, okay? And so all you have to do is look at each step, look behind you. That tells you what that person must be right there. See, right there, it tells you what that person must have. Right here, it tells you what that person must have. Oh, no one ever taught you how to read it this way. See, it's the first time I've taught it to a team of white. Okay, so because you're growing fast, everybody's interested in the silver bar. So I'm showing you what you need to learn. okay? And what you need, the tools, you got to always have in front of you. Even when you're talking to me over the phone, you should have that in front of you. Print it out, put it in there, put a PDF in your phone if you're all phone based, you know, so you can just pull it up right there in your documents or your Adobe or whatever you use, have it available. So when we talk, you got that, okay? Now, let me relate this to your Downline Explorer and how you use that. And so let's go, where do I go? I think it's here. Let's see. Yeah. Okay, let's go to Downline Explorer. Okay, so this is Team Hawaii. Okay, so if this is Team Hawaii, let me try and if somebody would mute themselves, or they'll go back. If everybody mute themselves, I'd appreciate it since we're recording. Or here, I'm going to do it, and I'll just take control. I'm sorry. You'll have to catch my attention, Pastor Gary, by either raising a hand or doing something if I had my time limit. So let's just take any particular person, and let's say I'm gonna take an associate. Okay, and if you opened up yours, you're an associate. You look at this person and you say, Kenny has 2 actives that he personally sponsored on his left side, and he has 1 active on his right side. Now, if one of these actives is an associate and that person is an associate, I know just by looking at this, he could be a copper real quick if he had just another personal on his side. Well, let's see. I don't know. How do we see? We click on Kenny. Okay. Now, we also see that he has got an autosaver, and that's cool. And his highest rank has been an associate. And let's see, let's explore his downline. We click on this link right here, and now we got Kenny's downline. The first thing you want to look at is his personal. And notice I only have actives checked. So let's look at his personal enroll. That's all that counts, is personals. So that's all you look at. You don't look at downline, you look at personals. And so Kenny has 1, 2 on his left and right. They have not sponsored anyone. And he had, oh, look, he has an associate on his left. Wow. Do you know what it would take to make Kenny a copper? Well, all it would take is Kenny to sponsor a person that came in with a business family pack. Okay, he sponsors a person that's going to come in with a business family pack. He places them where? On the right side. I know this is backwards here, but that's just the way it is in computer world. You place them on the right side, right here, and you'll have an associate that he personally sponsored, because that person is going to sponsor one on the left and one on the right to be a business family pack. And Kenny is a copper. Now, whoever sponsored Kenny should be telling Kenny this. Somebody in his first upline support should be telling Kenny this. So, and showing him this just like this. So at least no pressure to do it, just so he knows what to do. Excuse me. Now, the alternative way that Kenny can do that is help Tomiko sponsor one on their left and one on their right. That would make Tomiko an associate, and then Kenny would sponsor another person and place on his right. Now, so 2 ways. So the easy way, the fastest way, the cleanest way is a business family pack, and he and Kenny sponsor that person. But you may not find that person. So if he finds a person while he's looking for the business family pack, he can place them on his right while he's helping. He and his upline support is helping Tomiko become an associate. And most of the time they really want you because you might be able to discuss things better with their warm market better than they can, which I train. Okay, so we looked at Kenny, and that was a very good example. I'm going to go one step further because see, Ann may well be close to becoming a copper herself because she's got 2 and 1, and then that could pre-position Kenny to being what? A bronze. Yes, because he'd have a copper here, and then he'd have to help one of these, his business family pack or Tomiko, to become a copper. Okay, so I know I'm going fast on this, but I am recording it for you. Okay, now let's look at Ann. See, it says downline. I don't want to look at downline. I want to look at what? Personal enrollees. Now, and she has no, Ann has no associates, and no one has sponsored anyone. So there's a little work to go because she's already got the 2 here. She needs 2 here. And then that's the prerequisite. But then one of these 2 and one of these 2 needs to become an associate for Ann to become a copper. Now, I'm going to show you one other thing I do. After I look at this, I click on inactive because she may have personally sponsored someone that is inactive and all they need to do is buy a coin. So now that I've introduced the inactive to you, I'm going to go back to where? Kenny. Now we're going to look at what? His personals. Okay. Now we didn't look at inactives before, but now I am. He doesn't have any active. That's great. That's super. But if he had, and if he had an inactive here, oh, that becomes a lot easier. Then we help Tomiko get 1 on the left, 1 on the right, and then bingo, an associate. We help them become active. And sometimes it behooves us to help a person become active by, I bought a coin to help a person become active because it helps me and I get an extra coin that I won't. And I earned extra money on it. Okay, so remember, if you spend less than you make or you get free coins out of it, that's pretty good. That's a pretty good concept. People helping people, people accumulating and earning more wealth. Bingo. That is always a good situation. So let's go back now to Jim and let me take maybe a little harder one. That was the associate level. And let me try and I'm going to pick on Colleen. She's one of the founders here real quick, just for a little bit, Colleen. And so we're going to look at Colleen. We're going to look at what Colleen can do to get to her next rank. Okay. So we can also see what, even though, you know, you maybe not caught it, you can also see what her rank is by looking at her personal. She has a copper personally sponsored because this is personal on her left, and she has an associate on her right. So she's got at least an associate on her right. She's got at least an associate or above on her left. So that makes Colleen, everybody, a copper. Okay. How can she become a bronze? Real easy. Real easy. Help Crystal become a copper. Now, Crystal has 1 on her left, 1 on her right. She is active. So let's look at Crystal, because that would be the focus. You could help any of those people become, any of those people that she sponsored on that side become a copper. But Crystal has a head start on everybody because what? She's got personal sponsors on her left and right already, and neither one of them has sponsored anyone. But let's check inactive, no inactives. So now, how do we help Crystal become a cop? a copper. Well, we need a business family pack on the left and a business family pack on the right. Yeah, that's all. Now, there has been time that I found it beneficial, and so did Wayne, and so did George, and so did many of our people in our group, that I found a person and I could have personally sponsored them because my person was working so hard with me, and I gave my person and explained to them we're a team working together. See, because the person you're prospecting, they need to know you're still going to take care of them because you're the one that had that relationship. And so then we explain it, and the same thing's going to happen. You know, we're going to work as a team. Doesn't mean we're going to give somebody to you tomorrow, next day, or next month, or maybe even 6 months from now. But when your time and need comes, you're going to have a team helping you and not it all be on your own shoulders. And so as long as it benefits me to then, if she already had an associate here, and then I have a person I'm sponsoring tomorrow, and I say, oh, gee, I'm gonna let Crystal place her on the right. Then I got another. Now Crystal is a copper. Now who am I talking to? I'm talking to Colleen. See, she's the one that would be that. And I see that my hand is raised. I hope this was beneficial and that everyone understood that what we have. And if you have questions on it, first and foremost, I want you to review the recording of the training and then see if you can't get the answers yourself. If you can't, then it's time to start answering questions and making sure it's clear to you. And so I thank you for your time and attention. I hope you see what I see. I hope you help your teams and in a duplicable way that I teach. And until next week.